Very good morning. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi successfully concludes his visit to Dubai for COP28, proposes hosting 2028 UN climate talks. PM Modi unveils Green Credit Initiative at COP28, calls for rich countries to transfer technology to help developing nations combat climate change. World leaders pledge more than $500 million for climate mitigation. On the sidelines of COP28, several bilaterals also held. Israel-Hamas resume operations. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says humanitarian pause ended because of Hamas. And in sports, India beat Australia by 20 runs, sealed 5-match series 3-1. News in detail. Now, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi successfully concludes his visit to Dubai for COP28. Highlighting the key moments, PM shared the video on his social media platform X. The video includes the glimpses of his bilateral meetings, interaction with global leaders, and his summit speech focusing on contribution of all countries against climate change.
सबके हितों की सुरक्षा आवश्यक है, सबकी भागीदारी आवश्यक है। आज भारत ने इकोलॉजी और इकोनॉमी के उत्तम संतुलन का उदाहरण विश्व के सामने रखा।
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in national capital New Delhi after a day packed with summit speeches, bilateral meetings and launching a Green Credit Initiative at the World Climate Action Summit in Dubai. On his successful visit, Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra said the Prime Minister had the opportunity to discuss ways to promote clean and green growth.
Narendra Modi ji has just concluded his action-packed day here at Dubai at the World Climate Action Summit of COP28. Prime Minister highlighted 6 key points. First, India's ambitious climate action targets and the rapid progress that the country is making in its achievements. 2, priority that India has accorded to and the concrete outcomes that the country has achieved on the climate agenda during India's G20 presidency. 3, need for climate justice. 4, need also to assist the global south in addressing a problem that is not of their making and that they did not contribute to making. 5, need for a resolute climate action that is decisive, based on unity, more balanced, ambitious and innovative. And 6, India's readiness to host COP33 in 2028.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed COP28 high-level segment where he launched Green Credit Initiative. The new initiative focuses on creating carbon sinks through people's participation. PM Modi called for energy transition across the world, which must be just and inclusive.
With the aim to adopt planet-friendly living practices, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Green Credit Initiative at the high-level segment for heads of states and governments during the UN Climate Conference in Dubai. The new initiative focuses on creating carbon sinks through people's participation.
आज मैं इस फोरम से एक और प्रो प्लैनेट, प्रोएक्टिव और पॉजिटिव इनिशिएटिव का आह्वान कर रहा हूं। यह है ग्रीन क्रेडिट इनिशिएटिव। यह कार्बन क्रेडिट की कॉमर्शियल मानसिकता से आगे बढ़कर जन भागीदारी से कार्बन सिंक बनाने का अभियान है।
Prime Minister attended a session on Green Credit Initiative. India, along with Sweden, Mozambique and EU, launched the web portal of Green Credits program.
आज हम एक ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म भी लॉन्च कर रहे हैं। ये पोर्टल प्लांटेशन और पर्यावरण संरक्षण से संबंधित आइडियाज, एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड इनोवेशंस को एक जगह पर कलेक्ट करेगा।
Emphasizing collective efforts to combat climate change, Prime Minister asserted that India has made serious efforts in this direction.
India is one of those very few countries which has managed to meet its NDC target, that is the nationally determined contribution targets, and has been a role model in this COP. It has managed to strike a deal between economy and ecology.
Prime Minister also proposed to host the UN Climate Conference in 2028 in India.
भारत यूएन फ्रेमवर्क फॉर क्लाइमेट चेंज प्रोसेस के प्रति प्रतिबद्ध है। इसलिए आज मैं इस मंच से 2028 में COP 33 समिट को भारत में होस्ट करने का प्रस्ताव भी रखता हूं।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also took part in the Transforming Climate Finance session. PM urged the developed nations to increase the fund for climate.
हम उम्मीद करते हैं COP समिट से क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस से जुड़े अन्य विषयों पर भी ठोस परिणाम निकलेंगे। ग्रीन क्लाइमेट फंड और एडॉप्शन फंड में कमी नहीं होने दी जाएगी। विकसित देश 2050 से पहले अपना कार्बन फुटप्रिंट जरूर खत्म करेंगे।
Indian Prime Minister also called for maintaining a balance between mitigation and adaptation. During the session, Prime Minister Narendra Modi engaged in candid conversations with world leaders, which included UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa of Bahrain. Tapas Bhattacharya, Shishir Salar reports for DD India.
Addressing another session, Lead IT 2.0, Prime Minister said that Lead IT initiative was launched in 2019 to boost the innovation and technologies. He said all the countries of Global South should get benefits of this initiative.
2019 में शुरू किया गया लीड आईटी हमारा साझा प्रयास है ताकि इंडस्ट्री ट्रांजिशन को बल मिले, लो कार्बन टेक्नोलॉजी और इनोवेशन को गति मिले और ये जल्द से जल्द और आसानी से ग्लोबल साउथ को भी मिले।
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi held bilateral talks with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in Dubai on the sidelines of COP28. PM Modi lauded United Nations support in India's G20 presidency. And DD India correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya spoke to the Indian diaspora present at the World Climate Action Summit.
Mr. Narendra Modi left Dubai, but he left everyone spellbounded. How's the Josh? Hi. So that's the Josh for all the Indian diaspora. Let me get you some reaction from them. Ma'am, you guys want to speak? How was the experience seeing Prime Minister from such a close quarter and listening to him? He has actually led the world to a better, sustainable place, isn't it?
I think it was a great opportunity, especially as university students. We were so excited, and what he conveyed to all of us, the message was really strong. That sustainability is not just something that we have to look at, but also act upon, and it's an individualistic approach. So I think it's really important for us as students to also contribute to this change.
Right, contribute to the change, and students can do that. So find out more about it. What about you?
I think it was an amazing opportunity. I don't think we would have ever gotten this in another lifetime. So we're very happy about it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. What about you guys? You guys were there, so you heard the Prime Minister. what was the message that you liked the most?
The only message I got from today was Prakriti ko bachaiye taki Prakriti hame wapas bacha sake. That was the best message that Prime Minister Modi gave us today, and we are very enlightened to see the most three powerful men of India, with Mr. Ajit Doval, Mr. S. Jaishankar, and the Prime Minister.
How do you see all these points?
I just consider it as India is doing this thing on such a big stage, and tying up with the European countries, so now entire world knows what India is. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is like entire Earth is one world, and Modi one family, and Mr. Modi is taking us to the next level, which is a happy moment for us. All Indians.
So, one world, one family, and Prime Minister Modi is leading them to a better, cleaner.
One earth, one world, one
This
family.
is Anush Bhattacharya from Dubai for TD India.
And a new fund to help compensate countries suffering from climate change was established at the 28th meeting of the COP28 as it opened in Dubai on Thursday. On second day of the summit, several world leaders pledged for global climate solutions.
More than 70,000 delegates from around the globe gathered at the 28th session of COP28 in a bid to work out a worldwide solution to the pressing climate issues facing the planet and all mankind. UAE's Minister of Industry and Advanced Technology announced that this year's conference will focus on climate finance challenges.
And we see, as you see, that the world has reached a crossroads. I pledge that I will run an inclusive and transparent process, one that encourages free and open discussion between all parties.
A new fund to help compensate countries suffering from climate change was established at the 28th meeting for the Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. The announcement was seen as a major breakthrough at this year's conference. Calls to renew the fight against climate change were also made at the event.
We have been working very, very closely with other Transitional Committee members this entire year in order to design an effective fund that is based on cooperation and does not involve liability or compensation. And we're very much committed now to work with our Congress to provide $17.5 million specifically towards the Fund for Climate Impacts Response that will help vulnerable countries to respond to the impacts. But we also expect this fund to be up and running quickly.
UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan began the summit by announcing the establishment of $30 billion fund for global climate solutions, specifically designed to bridge the climate finance gap.
I am pleased to announce the establishment of $30 billion climate fund around the world, which was designed to bridge the climate finance gap and to obtain it at a good cost. The fund also aims at encouraging the gathering of the fund and investment of $250 billion by 2030.
Meanwhile, Britain's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak pledged $2 billion in funding at the UN Climate Summit, an attempt to bolster green credentials after watering down Britain's measures to reach net zero targets.
We're leading the world in new industries like offshore wind. We're protecting nature at home. So we've got a great story to tell. And I'll be announcing £1.6 billion of funding to help lots of other countries make that transition.
On the sidelines of COP28, several bilaterals were held. Israel's President Isaac Herzog met the President of the UAE, Mohammed bin Zayed, while Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani met with Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva.
All right, we'll slip into a short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Russia launches 25 drone attacks on Ukraine overnight. SpaceX launches rocket carrying South Korea's military spy satellite. And in cricket, India beat Australia to seal series 3-1.
we are taking up India's role and leadership in multilateral climate negotiations. How India has performed in climate talks over the years, what are the major pressing issues from India's point of view and from that of the global south, and how are climate negotiations progressing and do they hold out hope for humanity?
I think there's a growing realization that there is scope for India to have competitive advantage by being an early mover in technologies like battery, technologies like hydrogen. We see the solar potential in India. And so we are doing what a responsible power should do, which is something that promotes the global good while also promoting the national good.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Updates now on Israel-Hamas conflict. Multiple rockets were seen flying over an area near the Israeli-Gaza border as Israel resumed operations to neutralize the threat posed by Hamas after the end of truce between them. The White House singled out Hamas, saying it had failed to produce a new list of hostages to release to enable an extension of the truce. And US Secretary of State Antony Blinken says we are determined to do everything we can to get everyone home and to get them reunited with their families.
We're determined to do everything we can to get everyone home, to get them reunited with their families, including pursuing the process that had worked for 7 days. We had 7 days of a pause, 7 days of people coming home and being reunited with their families. So we're on that almost hour by hour. But meanwhile, we've also been very clear that we support Israel and its efforts to make sure that October 7th never happens again. We've also been very clear about the imperative of doing that in a way that puts a premium on protecting civilians and making sure that humanitarian assistance gets to those who need it.
All right, update on Russia-Ukraine crisis. Russia launched 25 drone attacks on Ukraine overnight, killing 1 person and damaging a warehouse and farm equipment as per the Ukrainian military. While Ukraine downed 18 of the drones, all but 2 of them in southern Ukraine. 1 civilian was killed and another injured in attacks on the southern Kherson region. The Ukrainian Air Force said the drones had been launched from southwestern Russia and Russian-occupied Crimea and missiles from the occupied part of Kherson region. And French far-right group protests in Paris following death of teenager in southeast France. Around 200 far-right group members and sympathizers joined the protest. Far-right politicians have framed the November 19 murder as an attack on France as witnesses alleged that the assailants were of Arab region. The death of Thomas has sparked nighttime protests across France over the past week, with some turning violent and leading to arrests. French authorities said 9 people have been arrested in connection with the killing. Now, South Korea has launched its first domestically developed spy satellite on Friday via a SpaceX Falcon 9. The launch was carried out from California's Vandenberg Space Force Base after North Korea successfully launched its own military reconnaissance satellite last month. The Elon Musk company also put on a live stream of the mission.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
It is a beautiful day for launch.
Now in Venezuela, only 5% of the garbage thrown away is recycled according to unofficial estimates. A local non-profit is encouraging youngsters to learn the benefits of recycling by teaching them how to turn waste into useful objects. DD India's Latin American correspondent Mary Trinimena reports from Caracas.
Today's lesson,
is focused on 3 words: use, reuse, and recycling. These students at the Petare slum in Venezuela's capital are learning how to transform discarded materials into something functional.
It was explained to me here that we can make chairs, walls, and other useful things to help low-income people.
In a couple of minutes, used plastic bottles become eco-friendly benches. Made using eco-blocks, which are plastic bottles densely packed to create a reusable building block. The recycling club is called Recyclers. It's an extracurricular activity that is changing the mindset of those who participate.
We generally say it's garbage, but it's not. It's material that we can recycle and we can obtain something productive.
Environmentalists say it's crucial to raise awareness from a young age, especially in a country like Venezuela, where it is not mandatory to separate solids, plastic, or glass waste at home. Since 2020, the Recyclers Club is bringing environmental education to Venezuelan schools, but also offering a communal waste collection center open for neighbors across the city. And they welcome plastic type 2 and 5, which are commonly used as food containers and plastic bottles, but also cardboard and glass. So far, they have managed to process 10 tons of waste in 2023 alone.
We are reducing the amount of waste that ends up in landfills, generating pollution and putting our health at risk. And secondly, we're helping people to get a new lifestyle.
The club is causing an eco-friendly chain reaction within the community, with neighbors coming to the recycling center bringing bottles and bags they collected at home.
We need to teach, since they are little, how to use, reuse, and recycle properly, because those children go home and teach their parents too.
And the next generation of Venezuelans is already paying attention to the lesson. Maritrini Mena in Caracas, reporting for DD India.
All right, now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. As part of Christie's New York Luxury and Design Week, a rare pair of orange diamond earrings and a watch once owned by Andy Warhol are up for sale. The California Sunset earrings, an impressive pair of fancy vivid orange-yellow diamonds, $7 to $12 million. The auction also includes an array of watches. 24 pink dolphins stuck in a shallow body of water in a Bolivian river were rescued in an attempt to preserve this species. According to researchers, changes in the hydrological basin caused the dolphins to be unable to follow the natural course of the main riverbed, leaving them trapped as water levels dropped. The dolphins, of which 14 were females and 10 were males, were relocated to the Rio Grande River. Red hot lava flowed from Italy's Mount Etna and lit up the sky on Friday night. The lava flow was originating from a southeast crater of Europe's tallest and most active volcano. Mount Etna is believed to have the longest documented history of eruptions among all volcanoes, with records dating back to as early as 425 BC. And British primatologist and ethologist Jane Goodall, known for her research on chimpanzees and environmental activism, unveiled her wax statue at Paris's Graven Museum on Friday, saying it reminded her of the best days of her life. Being the first scientist in the world without a scientific degree, decided to live with chimpanzees in Tanzania. The wax statue represents Goodall in camouflage clothing, similar to what she wore when she lived among chimpanzees. In cricket, India beat Australia by 20 runs in the fourth T20I to seal victory in the 5-match series 3-1 on Friday. India scored 174 off 9 wickets, while the Aussies could only manage to settle at 154 for 7. Rinku Singh and Jitesh Sharma remain top scorers with 46 and 35 respectively. On the bowling side, Akshar Patel and Ravi Bishnoi kept up the pace of the match. So all in all-round performance by India and winning the series 3-1. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.